really weird, long, truck-looking thing? I can't remember.
That's the viewer too, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, hang on, I'm grabbing a picture of it.
The
Yeah, the soft round face and everything on this thing. Yeah, that's hotshot right there.
You got a soft round face.
Yeah. look at
Thank
that.
you. I appreciate it. Just like I appreciate being in this episode of Modular Components. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. It's happening now. I'm the Vacuuminator. I'm here with my big old barrel of buddies. This week, the first buddy I'm pulling out of the barrel is True Buster.
Oh hi, I'm here. I barely talk.
Yeah, you've been indisposed.
Yeah. And I'm
Speaking
back
of disposing
again, and
things-
about time too. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, speaking of disposing things, let's talk about how Boingo Rider disposed of Snow Cone's Millennium Falcon.
Fucking Christ, no! I've had to deal with this for years.
Me too, though.
Hi, Snow Cone. How are you doing?
I'm angry.
Oh wow,
You angy?
big
Angsty.
angry boy right here.
Upsetty spaghetti.
And we also have a special guest this week. Why don't you introduce yourself, special guest?
Special guest. That's me. My name is Special Guest. I'm the special guest this week. No, I'm just kidding. The name's Hal, Citizen Hal. Hey everybody, it's me. I'm here.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I am.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to Modular Components,
Thank
the
you.
weekly fuck around and don't find anything out.
This explains my weeks pretty well too.
Yeah. How have you been, sir? What have you been up to lately in your little corner of YouTube?
Oh, I've been working on the podcast that I currently run myself. Too Many Movies, which is a podcast about the movies in my collection. I've amassed over the years a big just bunch of DVDs, Blu-rays, and VHS tapes.
You're one of those.
Yeah, so one day I was just like, I have like a whole bunch of these that like I have never watched. Maybe I should do something about that. And so then I started the podcast where I was just like, I would watch a couple movies, talk about them. At some point, I was like, I need to bring on other people. And I didn't want to like have like a permanent co-host, which is why like every week I try to have a different person on, and I bring people back, of course. But yeah, no, I started doing this because I was just like, I want to make sense of my collection, make sense of the movies I want to own. I want like the movies that mean a lot to me and different stuff like that. I also want to like, meet new people, get new people on, just be like, hey, you like this movie? Let's talk about it. And we talk about it. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. My most recent episode at the time of us recording this, the most recent episode that's up was my episode I did with fellow Shape Fearless editor and good friend of mine, One Tough Puff. We talked about the two Ewoks movies that they, for some reason, decided to put on DVD. Well, for some reason, they decided to make. Let's establish that. They were just like, George Lucas was just like, Star Wars is at an all-time high. Before I make the Gunga Saga, let me make two Ewok movies. And
The
so
Ewoks are going to be the next best thing. We're going to give them a cartoon and everything.
Yeah, so they made them. I just so happen to have a DVD of them, and I'm just like, Puff, let's talk about the Ewok movies. And so we made a whole episode out of it, which was an hour and 20 minutes long of just us talking about the Ewoks.
You know what's fucking crazy about the Ewoks and Star Wars in general? That shit did loop back around, as it always does. People are now nostalgic for the Ewoks era, because they announced new toys based off of the Ewoks cartoon on Star Wars Day this year, and people flipped out.
Oh, man. George was playing 4D chess the whole time.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Ewoks, I was never really, like, opposed to them. I mean, maybe that has to do with the fact that, like, I watched Return of the Jedi when I was, like, 4 years old, and I watched it all my life.
Return of the Jedi is my second favorite movie in the saga.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I love it to bits and pieces. I mean, I love all three of them to bits and pieces, but like I do love Return of the Jedi a lot. I just never minded the Ewoks. I mean, as I got older and I heard more adult Star Wars fans complaining about them, just like, yeah, I get it, but like,
whoa, adult Star Wars fans complaining about something? That's impossible.
I know. I would complain about adults complaining about Star Wars, but I am one of those complaining Star Wars adults. But anyway, I mean, I get it, but like, I don't know. I just never minded the Ewoks. Well, actually, I'm very anti-Ewok now that I've seen the movies. So
You're very anti that specific section of Ewoks.
I'm very anti-Ewok now that I've seen Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor, and you would be too if all you listeners out there, if you ever fucking watch any of those movies, you will be anti-Ewok too. So,
Damn.
yeah.
But we gotta get.
I can't believe we're getting Ewok racism here.
Yeah, well.
We got to get Warwick Davis back to make a 30 years later sequel to those movies for Disney
exactly.
Plus.
I mean, we already got him back for
Willow, and then
Willow too.
It fucking bombed and canceled after a season.
I completely forgot that even happened. Puff was super excited for that. It's like, yeah, it's going to be happening. Oh, sweet. Maybe I should watch the movie before the series comes out. And then I never did. And then the series came out and then it got canceled. And I'm like, what? I haven't seen the movie yet. But
I saw one GIF set from that show ever. And it was just a GIF set of like two characters complimenting each other. And then Tumblr, as Tumblr does, went, oh my God, they're gay! They're gay!
Oh, on Disney Plus? No. Well, not explicitly, of course. You got it for China and Russia.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
What was like?
I don't know, Buster. What do you want to talk about? What's going on with you? How are you tonight?
I've had a weird day, but now I'm doing pretty good. I mean, me and Hal before this podcast, we saw Garfield Gets Real, and that was an experience and a half.
That is the 5th time you've mentioned that this call.
Well, this is the first time I'm mentioning it on recording.
Listen, in my defense, for Garfield Gets Real, that's one of the next movies I'm talking about on the podcast. So I had to watch it. If I didn't have a reason, I wouldn't have watched you guys watch it. But we watched it, and sorry, Buster.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It gave memories for years to come.
I know. Of inexplicably thick ladies talking about Barnyard. Garfield dies. No, wait, no, he didn't.
He died multiple times.
I got my hopes up for a second there.
Oh well, this is the movie that they put in like a edited version of a comic where John is saying motherfucker, but they didn't realize, so like it's just somewhere in the background, and we actually caught it. Yeah, it was really funny because we're just because like unless you actually pause it to actually pay attention, you will not notice it. And obviously, because this movie would play on like Cartoon Network back in like the 2000s, no kid was going to be like pausing on Cartoon Network at that exact scene being like, oh, wait a minute, it says motherfucker.
Wow.
Yeah, so about that movie, Garfield Gets Real.
You want to know something fucked about Garfield? I used to have the novel where they became superheroes.
Oh.
What?
No, you mean the novelization of the movie?
No. It was originally a novel.
What? Let me look at this. Garfield.
It was originally a novel.
Okay, because like the Garfield Pet Force, like that's a movie.
Yeah, it was a novel series.
Trilogy. Oh my!
Yeah, it was a novel before it was ever a thing.
Wow!
5 novels, 5 whole Pet Force novels.
New York Times bestseller.
I think we've finally found the thing to dethrone Harry Potter.
I know. Finally.
But yeah, no, I had that.
Orange bitches.
So yeah, there we go. That's information that's in the ether now.
Wait, I came up with a better joke. Take that, Ron Weasley. A new orange pussy is in town. That's my joke. My joke. I've saved it. I saved it.
Yeah.
Comedic genius.
Yeah.
Comedic genius.
I guess we could just talk about like Vac. You listened to the podcast like episodes I gave you, right? Like
I listened to some bits and pieces. I listened to the bits on like the movies that I've seen.
That's usually what people do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to give like what do you like about Hal's content?
What do you hate about it?
So I'm gonna word this as politically as I possibly can.
Okay.
Your content is definitely not for me, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I totally get that.
Much you come off like somebody who makes content for cinephiles, and I am not a cinephile, and cinephile language tends to put me off a little bit. I won't lie.
No, I totally get that. I know exactly what you mean because like totally. The whole like pretentious angle of it all. Absolutely.
It's more so just like how like in certain things you get into like the nitty gritty of like techniques. Like when you start going super in on editing, like I edit my own videos and I'm just like, dude, editing is not that complicated. I don't care what movie it is, it's not that complicated.
What are you talking about? I think the editing intricacies of Marmaduke 2022 was actually No,
I'm also
totally
just like not the biggest fan of Christopher Nolan, and I get the vibe that you are.
Funny, actually, I'm not. Well, fan is such a strong word. I think. See,
are you going to see Oppenheimer opening weekend or not?
Yes, yeah, I am.
Before or after Barbie?
Good question.
That's separate the boys from the men right there. Yeah, that question.
Exactly. I will say, I actually did bring this up on one of the episodes where we talked about a Nolan film. I am kind of on the way out from kind of seeing Nolan as like this untouchable. I mean, I was never really those like Nolan heads where I'm just like, oh, he raised fucking movie maker of all time. Dark Knight Rises better than Citizen Kane. It's like, no fucking way.
Okay, you're one of the good ones. All right.
Exactly. I love Memento. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. I love the Dark Knight trilogy. From what I remember, I like his movies, all his other movies, but like I can't really say all of them are ones that like, every single one of them connects with me. I would say, like, again, like, yeah, Memento and the Dark Knight trilogy are like the big ones that really connect with me. And even then, like, when I think of the Dark Knight trilogy, I'm only really thinking of the first two. Like, I'm not really that married to Dark Knight Rises as anything that great. So I totally get the Nolan hate.
I'm not even a Nolan hater. I'm just I'm kind of done with him, honestly. Because even when I was young, I watched Memento and Inception, and I was like, these are good, but like they don't do anything for me personally. And like I really liked the Dark Knight trilogy when I was in my early teens, but since like I can't sit through an entire one of those movies anymore. Just by like halfway through one of them, I'll just be like, yeah, I kind of get it, and I've seen this enough times that I don't need to see the rest of it.
Yeah, Nolan is definitely one of those filmmakers you love when you're a teenager, and like as you get older, it really depends on like which ones connect with you more. Like The Dark Knight, I watched at a pivotal age where like they really connected with me. Same with Memento, and so those movies are definitely going to connect with me throughout the years. Whereas like his other ones, the other ones I have seen, I'm just like, yeah, they were good on a first watch, but like I haven't really rewatched most of them. I did rewatch Dunkirk, and Dunkirk was fine, but I don't really plan on watching it again anytime soon.
Yeah, I haven't seen Dunkirk yet. But I will say, like, I did see The Dark Knight in theaters when I was like 12 or 13, and it had a huge impact on me at the time, but now I can't get more than like a half hour into it.
Interesting. I still love The Dark Knight, but yeah.
I mean, it's a fantastic film. It's just not a film that I feel like I need to go back to anymore.
No, of course. I totally get that. There's plenty of movies that like, get that praise where everyone's just like, oh, it's the greatest freaking movie ever. And then you're just like, yeah, I see what it's doing well. But then it's like, it's not connecting with, that's something I try to teach people with like my podcast, with whatever I'm like with my Letterboxd reviews. Like sometimes you watch something and it just doesn't connect with you. And I feel like a lot more people need to understand that it's okay to just say that. Because people will just be like, they'll
you need to be able to acknowledge this like stuff like this doesn't connect with me, this take doesn't work for me, and not equate that with this is bad.
Exactly. Or this is good. Or like, I feel like there's a certain self-consciousness people feel whenever they talk about certain movies. They're just like, they feel like they need to overcompensate and like kind of explain away why they don't like something. It's like, no, you could just say it doesn't connect with you and just leave it at that. And I will completely understand why people wouldn't like it. Yeah, I'm not going to force people to like the movies that I like. I will fully admit my favorite movies, some of them, I know for a fact, not everybody that I know is going to like them on the same level as me. And so honestly, I'm okay with that because I'd rather people be honest on the kind of movies that they watch. So
All right. Well, in that case, I can watch Pacific Rim, Kamen Rider Zero, and Transformers 2 all day, every day, all the way through.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, no, greatest
There's
movies of
my
all
brain
time.
rot.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm the same way. I watch fucking all the Muppet movies. I'm just like, oh, this is the greatest.
You gave Muppets from Space 5 stars.
And I'll do it again.
Did anyone
that
else
on
do the
you.
research?
A little bit. That's about it.
Okay, what's your take? Come on. Get in here.
When I say a little bit, I mean like 5 minutes.
Oh, you bitch! This guy, this fucking
I was
guy.
fucking busy.
It's like I'm back in high school already.
Yeah. That's modular media for you. We don't do any research, or we do it all in the last 10 minutes.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, it is what it is. You know, if people are not, I'd rather people watch if they actually are interested. You know, because like I can try and appease certain people who are only going to stay for like a little bit, but like, you know, what's the point in that? Like, why should I only have serotonin for a little bit when I could like have serotonin for a lot of it? You know, like I'd rather people actually watch because they want to watch. So if you ever watch like an episode because I'm actually talking about something you're interested in, great. But if you don't listen to an episode that, you know, I talk about fucking Time Runner starring Mark Hamill, I totally get it. Although I will say, please watch Time Runner starring Mark Hamill. It's one of the fun.
It's been on my list for quite a while.
Okay, good. I need more people to know that movie exists because I think it's the funniest fucking thing in the world.
I still haven't watched The Guyver, and I need to.
Ooh. Yeah.
Have you seen Mark Hamill in Wizards?
The Ralph Bakshi one? Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier.
We were talking about that earlier. I fucking love Wizards, dude. The reason I watched Wizards, I remember because it was like around, I think I was like 17, and I was like back in my Star Wars bullshit because it was around the time that Force Awakens was coming out. So I was back on being like, I love Star Wars. It's the greatest thing ever. And I was like, you know,
we all were.
Yeah. Anyway, but I was
What are you talking about? I still am. Fuck it. Star Wars cool.
Yeah, Star Wars is cool. I still am, but I say that Star Wars with an asterisk. Star Wars is cool.
There's times when we love Star Wars, and there's times when we love Star Wars. And Force Awakens was the last time I think a lot of us loved Star Wars.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was definitely at my highest because I was just like, holy shit, this movie's gonna be the greatest thing ever. And like, I remember the hype more than I remember the actual movie. So
that'll happen to you.
It will, yeah. I mean, that wasn't the movie that taught me don't always buy into the hype. That was The Last Jedi that kind of taught me that, where I'm just like, you know, maybe I shouldn't put all my eggs in one basket with just a movie. Like maybe I should just watch it and experience it for what it is instead of what it isn't.
I just made a whole Star Wars video about like not treating this franchise as every installment having to be the be all end all.
Exactly. And so then when I watched Rise of Skywalker and it was a huge steaming pile of shit, I was just like, yeah, it's a huge steaming pile of shit, but I'm not that sad anymore. Like, oh well, like whatever. The originals still exist.
However, that video of the theater reacting to Rey Skywalker is still one of the most iconic moments in our generation.
I remember that, yeah, where the lady's just like, I fucking hate Star Wars. It was so funny. Oh my god. Yeah,
I wonder where that lady is right now. I hope she's okay.
I hope she's doing okay too. Yeah.
His blood pressure issues.
But anyway, yeah. So when I was on my Star Wars bullshit, more so than now. But anyway, I remember being like, "What has Mark Hamill been in besides Star Wars?" And I decided to look up his like Wikipedia page, and the first thing he was in pre-Star Wars was Wizards, which came out a couple months before Star Wars, so in 1977. That was like his first movie.
I watched a documentary on Bakshi's work. Wasn't it like Hamill or Hamill and Bakshi were friends, or Hamill was a fan of Bakshi's and just happened to get in with him right before Star Wars was going out?
So I think the way the story goes, and I'm going off of what I remember from watching special features on a Wizards DVD like a bunch of years ago.
Oh boy.
Ralph Bakshi was talking about how like he was making Wizards and he went to 20th Century Fox because he ran out of money. He's like, hey, I need more money. And he was in the same waiting room as George Lucas who was also asking for more money, and they struck up a conversation. And Lucas was like, "Hey, I'm making this movie, and there's this guy, Mark. You want to put him in your movie?" And Bakshi was just like, "Sure." And so he put Mark in as Sean, King of the Fairies. I think that's how the story goes.
Damn, I didn't know George was that much of a bro.
Yeah, I may be butchering it, but I think that's how the story goes. But yeah, I remember being like, "Oh, what's this Wizards thing?" And then I looked it up. I think I watched it on like 1, 2, 3 movies, or maybe it was Putlocker. I think I watched a lot of Putlocker at that time. But
oh yeah, Putlocker.
Yeah,
I remember that website.
Yeah. I remember I found it and I was just like started watching it. And I'm like,
that's how I watched the first 4 movie. I didn't want to pay to see that in theaters.
Oh, when did I first watch Thor? Oh, I actually remember how I first watched Thor because it wasn't in theaters. Because the very first MCU movie I saw in theaters was Captain America.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
It was a very good choice. But Thor, I remember watching. I remember I had like a day where I was like hanging out with my cousins at my grandparents' house. Like all the adults had like gone to like some wedding or something. And so like us cousins were left home alone to like watch a bunch of movies all night. And we watched 4 movies. It was Marmaduke 2010.
Nice.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Squeakquel.
Nice.
Thor 2011.
Nice.
And the very first X-Men movie from 2000.
Dude, and what the fuck is wrong? I'm just kidding. That's nice.
Yeah, so we watched all 4 of those into like midnight, and like the adults came back, and it was like the end. It was like X-Men had just like started playing like the trailers, and the adults were just like, "Hey, what have you guys been watching?" We're like, "A lot of stuff."
Many things have happened.
Many things, yeah. But that's when I first watched Thor, and I was like, "Hey, this is pretty good." And then I watched it as an adult. I'm like, "Wow, I was wrong." So
there's things about that movie I still like, but man, 4 is definitely the most mishandled MCU franchise throughout the whole way.
For sure. Like, my God. Like,
I mean, it reflects what the comics are like.
Mm-hmm. I guess so. I didn't know the comics were that messy, but
Boingo's a huge Marvel nerd, so he'll tell you.
Okay, yeah.
For a long while, Thor was very not anybody's favorite comic, and then like every once in a while you get a really good writer come in and everyone's like, "Oh man, this guy's doing a lot of really cool stuff," and then basically the next 10 writers just rip on what he did until it gets boring again.
Oh, that's such a shame. Yeah, I mean, well, when you have a character who's basically just a Norse mythical character and not like an OG do not steal Marvel character, it's like, well, no. He's probably not going to be that great.
I mean, to be fair, Iron Man was also like a very cult character for most of his history.
Yeah. Isn't that the way with like a lot of Marvel characters, though? A lot of the popular ones today were started as like cult characters.
Well, because
it depends on how you look at it, I think.
Okay.
There's a very specific reason for that, though. Why, like, the MCU was basically started by Scrimblows is because in the 90s, due to a lot of business shenanigans with Marvel, they basically were
locked up, right?
No, what happened was they were going bankrupt, or about to go bankruptcy. And in order to not do that, they basically sold off the rights to their most popular characters. And so that is Sony Ghost Rider, Daredevil, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four. These are the A-list Marvel characters. And what's left is the B and D listers. And that's all Marvel had the official rights to. That's Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Ant-Man, stuff like that. So literally they just made it with like all the Scrimblows.
They just made it with all the Scrimblows. And that's why for years, like, we didn't have certain characters showing up in the MCU. Like, that's why Spider-Man didn't show up until Civil War.
Yep.
Like, which feels really weird.
And then they had to spend his whole first trilogy trying to make it all make sense.
Yeah, because it's really weird to think about that. Like, there was once a time where it would have been impossible to see Spider-Man in the MCU. And it's like, Spider-Man's one of the only good characters in the MCU right now. Like,
I was in the trenches with the MCU from pretty much Avengers 1 onwards, and I remember like all the different times there were rumors about them striking a deal with Sony to get him in MCU. I remember the fucking conspiracy theory videos of people going like, no, Andrew Garfield is totally in this one frame of the Age of Ultron trailer, guys. Look, I can prove it.
Oh my God. I remember being like that back in those days. Like, just the absolute wildest conspiracies people came up with. You know what? One I always think about, like when I think about like one of those like Easter egg videos, just being like, oh, the movie's totally going to be like this. I remember this one guy tried explaining it. So there's one talking about The Force Awakens. It was like the third Force Awakens trailer. It was the one where like it opens with like Rey like scavenging that Star Destroyer, and like the first frame is her like opening something, and you see like a bunch of dust particles go everywhere. I remember this guy tried explaining it. He's like, if you look at the way the dust particles look in the dark space, it looks like stars. So what I think they're going to do is they're going to like pull the rug from under us, and after the crawl happens, it's going to be, they're not in space. It actually starts with her opening this, and that's the first scene. She like opens a door, and like that, it's not really stars. It's
cool
just dust
editing
particles.
thing, but no.
But that's not Star Wars. Like that is the dumbest fucking thing. Like I was like, and I remember watching that and being like, yeah, that could be really cool. And then like, no, that's not at all what happened. Oh, and as I'm talking, I just remembered another one. This had to do with BVS when
oh no.
Yeah, so I remember one theory said like, did you know, here's my theory, BVS is actually the 5th movie in the Dark Knight trilogy.
I remember that shit. Jesus.
Yeah, like because people were so pissed off at Man of Steel just being bad, they're just like, no, BVS can't take place in its own universe. It has to take place in the Dark Knight trilogy because that's the good universe. Like, that's the only way it'll be good. It's like, it's BVS, Batman v Superman, V being the Roman numeral for 5. Like, it all makes sense, people. It's like, and that Ben Affleck's not really playing Batman. He's playing Deathstroke, and Christian Bale is still Batman, guys. And it's like, wow, these people don't understand how movies work.
That's buddy. You need some help right there. You're gonna wanna go to this cool place I know called the Sanatorium.
You're gonna want to go to this cool place I call outside. I
mean, like that one fucking thing that gets shared over and over again. Men will just write fan fiction, call it a theory, and post it on YouTube.
I just retweeted that today. God damn it, Michael! I can't believe you're stealing my retweets.
I'll steal whatever I
want. Oh, that's really good art you just posted in the server right there, Boingo.
Well, I try to draw a piece of art every podcast.
I like how it looks like he's cocking his eyebrow.
It's the American adaptation of Kamen Rider Geats starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh god damn it!
Hey, he's not a Black Adam anymore. He's got to do something.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Lex, the grandson of Prince Dex.
Oh, stop talking.
See, when you said Lex, I was going like, oh, like Lex Luthor?
Dwayne Johnson is Lex Luthor? Yeah. Black Adam is Lex Luthor? There you go. The hierarchy is about to change, Superman. This is how I'm going to fight you. Dwayne doesn't even care what character he's playing. He just wants to fight Superman.
Fucking Jesse Eisenberg just struts out onto the screen. He's like, I realized the perfect way to defeat Superman was magic word. And then he fucking says Shazam and turns into the Rock.
He turns into the Rock. It makes so much sense, guys. We swear. This is how it's going to be.
Just wait until the next one. Wait until the next one. He's going to totally explain it all.
Wait until Black Adam 2, Black Adamer.
I swear, in this one, they'll finally explain what the nightmare sequence is all about.
Wait until Black Adam 2, Black Molecule.
Where he Black Adams all over the place.
I'm dying.
Wellback dies. How?
You know what? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would not be a bad Captain Atom.
Well, I mean, he's kind of a prick now, so I don't want to like fan cast him as anyone. So
yeah, but I mean, he could play Captain Atom because of that.
He would never play Captain Atom because then he'd have to be CG'd, and he can't be CG'd. He's Dwayne Johnson. You have to be looking at Dwayne Johnson all the time because you're paying for Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, maybe he could play Dr. Manhattan, and then we can see his Dwayne Johnson.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's Boygo, I think I'm gonna personally like throw you off a cliff, Tekken style.
You're gonna have to fight me, fucking.
Yeah, we're gonna have a volcano fight to the death, baby.
Boygo will juggle your ass.
You're gonna have to fight him like Superman fights Black Adam in no movie ever.
in no comic ever. In one animated film, one time, that was a team up with Shazam.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
And even then, that was an adaptation of a Superman Shazam story. That's the one where, like, at the end, Clark Kent's like, "Hello, Billy Batson. I'm a reporter. I'm here to help you." And it's like, "What the fuck? Get away from me! I'm Superman." Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, as far as Shazam Superman movies go, I've only ever seen Lego Shazam DC Magic and Monsters. So
man, that's a hood classic right there.
It is a hood classic. Fucking Jeepers Creepers is in that. Fucking, they turn into kids for no reason. Batman's voiced by Troy Baker, but he sounds more like Zap Brannigan. I've talked about it on my podcast. It's quite a trip.
Yeah, go listen to Hal's podcast, because he clearly listened to this podcast, so listen to another podcast.
Exactly. Listen to podcasts.
Yeah, your entire life is podcasts now. You have no say in this.
Yeah. Your entire life is podcasts. You were the middle manager having to commute 1 hour a day to and from work in your loveless marriage. And the podcast is the only bit of joy you get.
I can't believe you assume our
and you're just going to sit at your
married.
desk all day. You're just going to sit at your desk all day, bored out of your mind, waiting for anybody to have an IT issue, but they never do, because there's actually good computers at your company.
Yeah.
Coming to
bed. I think this got a bit too personal.
I was just imagining
Hey, Boulderman 2010, how you doing?
Who's Boulderman 2010?
An old friend of mine.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. If he actually comments on this, I'll be floored.
Okay, I want to ask Hal something else, because I feel like a lot of listeners, or like people who know what a Citizen Hal is, don't know him from his podcast, very unfortunate, but know him for editing for a much more popular YouTuber. So talk about editing for Shafe, Hal, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Talk about how Buster actually knows you.
Yeah, talk about how I'm actually known through most people. Yeah, exactly. I can't talk about my passions. I have to talk about my job. No, it's totally fine. No, so for those of you who don't know, I'm an editor for Schaeferless Productions, who's a YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers. So he's popular enough. But he talks about movies and such. Sometimes games, sometimes shows. A lot of it is animated. But yeah, he talks about a myriad of stuff, and I edit for him sometimes. What do you want to know specifically?
I guess what was the first video you edited to start off?
So the first video I ever edited for him was his video on why Shrek 2 is a masterpiece.
Oh.
So the way that happened, so I knew James even before he started doing analysis videos. I knew James when he was doing YouTube poops, because that's how I got my start. Was I started my channel back in 2017 doing YouTube poops. In fact, fun fact, the only reason I started my channel was because James was doing a YouTube poop collab on the Shiny song from Moana. Before I go any further, should I explain what YouTube poops are? Do you think your audience knows what they are?
I think we all know what YouTube poops are.
Okay. I mean, if you don't know, I don't know how to explain them. But,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
They're plungerphonics, but with videos.
Yeah. So he used to be big into those. I was not really big into those. I was not big into those, actually. I never became popular, but I still knew James through those. I was a big fan of his. Then one day he created a Discord server. I joined it, became good friends. And then one day he made his Twist Villain video. That's I think that's the video most people knew him from, how he when he really popped off. Cause that video did gangbusters, more so than any of us could have imagined. We were just we just watched it and we're just wow, this is really good, James. And then more and more people started watching it and they were just hey, Schaeferless, we love this, do more. But James was still in college at the time, as were most of us. And he was just hey, I need help with some of these videos. Any of you guys want to help edit? And we're just like, sure. And I remember DMing him, just being like, hey, what's your next video that I can help with? And he was like, yeah, I'm working on a video on Shrek 2 and why it's really good. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll help with that. And yeah, I edited my segments for him. He put it in his video, credited me, and then I just kept on going. I can't remember when exactly we made like an official editor's server where like he just took on whoever had edited before. But then we started our own server, and then I've just been working for him there ever since. I've had some ups and downs. We've gone through. This is actually we're on our second editor's server at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't need to. I don't know if I really want to.
What did you do, Hal? What did you do?
I might have leaked some industry secrets. Blah blah blah.
Oh boy!
Did you tell people how to pirate Metroid?
Yes. No, I don't know how much I should get into it. I probably won't.
If it's actual drama, don't get into it at all.
Yeah, no. All they really need to know is like over the years, now that James is not really in college anymore and he actually has more time to actually edit his stuff, he doesn't need like a million different editors working for him. And plus the fact there's just every once in a while, like we'll just get, the way he like gives us projects is he'll just post the script in the server and be like, here's the part, here's the script, choose whatever parts, like 1 max or 2 max, whatever. And then sometimes it just gets to be like, a real feeding frenzy. Like just people are just like ripping the script apart, just being like, oh, I want this part. No, I want this part. Yeah, I want this part. I want this part. So like I've kind of learned to just, if it's something I really want to be a part of, like I have notifications set on my phone. So like when he posts a script, I can just be like, oh, sweet. And like I just go right away. But if it's like something I'm not as super into, then like I'll let other people choose, and then I'll just pick up any scraps that are left over just to like, help out.
You're the pizza rat of that server.
Yeah, pizza rat, exactly.
You're the person who goes like, all right, this needs to be done. No one wants to do it. I'll be the adult here.
Exactly.
Oh my god, you're to me.
So look, I love all the guys I work with. They're all nice guys. All the editors are super cool guys. We all get along nicely. I mean, I'd like to think so, unless they talk shit about me, in which case, what are you gonna do? But like, no, we enjoy our time working for James. He's a super nice guy, super nice boss, super cool guy. You edit things. He's really like one thing I've noticed is like sometimes he'll make a reference to something, because he makes a lot of references in his videos, and sometimes I'm like in tune with what he's referencing and I know the exact clip he wants me to play over, and sometimes he just quotes something and I'm just like, okay, this is from a Broadway musical, I don't know what the fuck this is, I'm just gonna leave it blank and he can edit it in himself. So yeah, no, that's.
And then you don't tell him, and then the comments are like, "Where's your blank spot?"
Yeah. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but you never know.
Now it's in the air. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. Someday it's just gonna happen.
We've cursed you. I'm sorry. We've cursed you.
Yeah. I mean, listen. The amount of times that William, who's another Shaperless editor, he just puts in whatever the fuck he wants sometimes, and those still get through past James. So. You know what? You're probably right. Maybe just like it'll just black
James is like, whatever. I got 8 million subs. They'll watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, of course they will. He had look at this point.
The audience may even think the blank screen is the gag itself.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Knowing his audience. Knowing his audience, they will speculate the fuck out of it. Like they'll go on his subreddit, just being like, "What did James mean by this?" Of course,
does he have like a real Jobby the Hong audience going on there?
I will say this: I'm not a fan. I've made it no secret of mine before, but I am not a fan of his fan base. Obviously, I'm not talking about all his subscribers. I'm not talking about everybody who watches his videos or follows him on Twitter or Letterboxd or whatever. Like, not all of his fans I'm not trying to generalize them.
You're talking about the collective, not the individuals.
Exactly. There are some real like people there that you're just like, dude, why are you wasting your time like asking us? Like, and so at first it was comical. Like, you know, you go on Letterboxd and he rates something below average, maybe even above average, depending on whatever the movie it is. And like people will just get like super butthurt about it. And you're just like, dude, who cares? But like it's kind of funny at times. But then other times you're just like, dude, like, so a recent example or recent-ish example, I would say, is when he reviewed The Bad Guys, that DreamWorks movie. He didn't review it for like a month after it had come out because, like, you know, he's busy because, you know, he kind of has a job doing his YouTube channel and doing other things. And he also has a life outside of YouTube, guys. You know, that's also a thing that happens.
Yeah, that's something most people tend to forget is like YouTubers are human beings.
Exactly. Yeah. They're not just like some robots who just like consume media for your pleasure. Like, you know, they're doing other things. But anyway, so people were, you know, because people were going nutso for The Bad Guys. They're just like, oh, DreamWorks is back. It's just like, yeah, it's fine. And, you know, so then James watched it and he was like, 5 out of 10, like nothing that great. It was fine. And people were just like super pissed at him. They're just like, dude, you need to do a video. You need to explain your points. You need to explain why you gave it a 5 out of 10. And just like annoyed the fuck out of him to the point that it's become a running gag now where like, he'll just be like, yeah, I'll get to the Bad Guys video. Not.
Yeah.
And like at this point, I don't think he's ever going to do it. I have told James, I'm just like, dude, don't even bother. Like, do not, just do not, you know, because like these people do not deserve an explanation. Like, and I've even started to get this. Like, I get Letterboxd comments all the time just of people, not all the time. I get Letterboxd comments of people being like, oh, why did you rate it this score? It's just like, because I did. Like, why did you rate the fucking Guardians 3 6 out of 10? It's like, because I liked it.
I didn't even know people could leave comments on Letterboxd. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
They need to remove that feature.
They do need to remove. Well, you can have that feature removed yourself. You can just be like, only friends can comment on your Letterboxd page. Which, I mean, even then, like, just Letterboxd comments in general are just fucking dog shit, dude. Like, they are so. Everybody complains that like YouTube comment sections are cringe, which they are, but like at least they're organized better. You know how like people can like leave a comment and then you can like do like a separate conversation from that comment. You can't do that on Letterboxd. It's all just one continuous like line of comments. So like conversations can't happen in a Letterboxd comment section unless it's one conversation. Like if you're having multiple conversations in a Letterboxd comment section, it's a fucking shit show. Like it's just 700 comments of just bullshit. It is so terrible. I mean, that's just one out of like the numerous things I don't like about Letterboxd, even though I still use the app like daily. So, but yeah, no, not a fan of James's fan base, but I say that a half as a joke because I think it's funny. Just to be like, I hate you. Even though you people are essentially the reason
food in my stomach.
Yeah, you people are essentially the reason James pays me. So, but I mean, mostly the people who are just super annoying, like the ones that like got mad at him over his Rio 2 opinions.
Oh yeah.
I don't even remember what was. See, even though I'm an editor
People
for him, and like,
about Rio 2, I don't even remember that that's a Street Fighter character. Sometimes
I don't even remember what people were mad at him for. I don't remember if he said he liked it or not. I don't remember. Like I don't remember what he said. Like whether he was too harsh or too nice to it. I don't remember. But people were mad at him for Rio 2. It's like, are you fucking serious? It's Rio 2. But the one that I always thought was really funny is his when he said he didn't like Dinosaur, the Disney movie from 2000. Yeah, that's a big one where like people are just like, oh, I'm fine that James doesn't like it, but he didn't have to be so rude about it. It's like blah 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 blah. It's just like, dude, it's Dinosaur. Like if you like it, great, but like, my God, who cares?
Yeah, it's kind of started the running gag that James hates dinosaurs, just all dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just hates all dinosaurs. So that's funny. Well, I will say,
it seems like there's a lot of accounts on the internet that think being upset about somebody else's opinion makes you a real human being.
Exactly. It's so bizarre to see. Like, why do you care so much? And this is why, like, so I will admit sometimes a reviewer or a YouTuber I like says something I don't agree with on a movie that I like, or like they don't like a movie that I like. And it's like, sure, do I feel a little bit frustrated over that? Absolutely. But
I don't agree with the RLM guys on most modern movies, but I trust them more than anybody else when it comes to Star Trek.
Dude, I fucking love Red Letter Media. I love Best of the Worst and reviews whenever they talk about something I actually watch. But like, yeah, no, I disagree with them a lot on like a lot of their modern stuff. And there's other stuff I disagree with them on. But like, I love Best of the Worst so much. I love when they talk about those old shitty movies.
Best of the Worst is one of the most fun shows on YouTube. It's one of the few shows on YouTube that still feels like a real show.
Yeah, that's a show that is definitely heavily inspired my podcast. Just from like the way, just their sense of humor and like what they talk about. It's so funny. But like, yeah, like even when I disagree with them, and I will admit I disagree with James on a lot of stuff because, well, I'm not James.
You're two different people.
We're two different people. I'm not James. I don't run the Schaeferless Productions channel. If I did, there'd be a lot more Dark Crystal videos. But like, I still, understand where he's coming from. As long as I understand where somebody's coming from, and even if I do, it's a movie. Like, I'm not gonna, lie awake at night if James doesn't explain why he didn't like the bad guys, or like if he ever watched like a movie that I am actually passionate for and he just decides to make like a joke about it. It's like, all right, whatever. Like, if it doesn't, like I said at the beginning, if it doesn't connect with you, it doesn't connect with you. Big whoop. It's a movie. Like, move on.
Boingo and I have had full-blown arguments right in the middle of episodes of No Prize live on air before. And it's always ended in me going, this is taking too long. We need to move on to something else. And then we don't talk about it again because we're not going to let a disagreement about media ruin our friendship.
Exactly. It's like, who cares?
I just have a very bad habit of like, you can explain you could have to explain why you got to an opinion.
Sure. And I get that. And I think it's up to you as an individual. Like, if you are willing to explain your points. If you don't want to, I don't think you should have to. Like, you're not obligated. The point of James doing these videos is because he has a passion for doing videos, like talking about movies. If he doesn't want to review a movie, like recently, people were asking him to review the Paw Patrol movie. It's like, no. Like, why would he ever do that? Like, he's not passionate towards Paw Patrol.
Why would anyone above the age of 6 review the Paw Patrol movie?
Exactly. Like, what
I guess because it became a Twitter meme? I don't know.
I guess so, but like, who cares? It's not going to be a Twitter meme by like 2 seconds from now. Like,
Let the people who are watching Paw Patrol right now as like 4 to 6-year-olds talk about it nostalgically in 20 years. And for now, leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah. And here's something I always say. It's like, if you are so desperate for your favorite creators to talk about a movie, that you love or you hate, like if you're so desperate for a creator to talk about a movie that you want them to talk about, like, you make your own channel. Then you make your own letterbox where you can write out your reviews. Like, that's exactly what
one of those YouTube comments that's like the length of a video essay script, and you're like, "What the fuck? Why didn't you just make a video response?"
Exactly, or just make a video reviewing the actual movie. Like, that's what I did. That's why I started this. That's why I started my channel. Like, why I started doing movie stuff on my channel, because like, it wasn't just because reviewers I didn't like were talking about movies that I loved properly. It's because reviewers I actually did respect and like, were making videos on stuff, and I was like, oh, I kind of disagree with this. Let me make my own video where I talk about, what I think about this movie. Let me talk about this on Letterboxd and what I actually think about this. It's like, all right, fine, I'll do it myself. Thanos gif. It's like, I just don't understand why people don't understand how easy it is to just not be a moron on the internet and, like making a fool of themselves by like posting on a subreddit and being like, oh, why does so-and-so think this? Or why is this reviewer reviewing it wrong? It's like, if you're so mad at a reviewer, like at that point, just make it yourself, you know?
It is incredibly easy not to be a moron, but it's also incredibly easy to be a moron on the internet.
You know what?
That is why I am backing the new bill that they're passing in the Senate for internet censorship. I think the whole internet needs to be taken down. We've made a huge mistake. We got to go back.
We've gone too far.
We have to return to Monk right now.
The small price to pay for salvation.
Also, while we were saying that, I was just kind of mindlessly scrolling through Facebook, as I tend to do during the podcast sometimes.
Yeah.
And literally, as we were having that conversation, I stopped on a post from a meme page. Breaking news. Local Facebook user discovers they can simply scroll past a post they disagree with instead of leaving an essay in the comments section.
Exactly. I could ramble for like hours trying to make this point, but like that's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's like, dude, don't even bother, complaining about your creators saying something wrong. It's like they're giving their opinion. James is giving his opinion. That's what you subscribed for, right? Like, why are you watching James's videos if you're not interested in hearing what he has to say? Why are you watching my stuff if you're not interested in hearing what I have to say?
Like, look, I know it sucks sometimes to violently disagree with somebody, but sometimes you gotta just learn to skip through those sections of trash taste where Connor decides to talk about the MCU.
Exactly. I mean, like, I would just skip the entire trash taste.
Fuck you.
Actually, like, we went way off, but like, what was your favorite thing you've ever edited for Shave? I'm just like, I don't know. I'm sorry if these are basic ass questions, but I'm curious.
No, that's fine. I've pretty much said what I had to about that. So yeah, we can move on to the next one. I have to think. Well, so one of my favorites is for his Illumination ranking video.
Oh.
When I edited the Lorax section, so I took on the Lorax segments, and I edited a little meme. So I like
how many Tumblr fan arts did you put in there?
How many did I put in there? At the very least one. I mean, I probably had to. I don't remember. I don't remember any of it, which is probably a good thing. But I think it's safe to say at the very least one. But I edited a little meme because I like to do that sometimes. Is like editing. We all do. All us editors do. We like to add in. James sometimes leaves it in, sometimes he doesn't. Which
the little memes.
To be fair, it's his channel. He can do whatever he wants. But there's this one meme, and I think he said like it's one of his favorites from the video. Where like I have to actually explain this. So there's this video that William has shown us, and it's become a meme within our little group here, where essentially just look up on YouTube, the animals are leaving, and it's this video of like some Twitch streamer just being like, then what the fuck is stopping us from just throwing ourselves off a bridge? The planet is dying. The aliens aren't contacting us. The animals are leaving. She specifies that like the animals are leaving, and then some video, some song, I forget what it is, but it's like it's like some song by 30 Seconds to Mars.
This is amazing.
You're watching it right now? Yeah. I basically
she's wearing a maple pine sweater.
Yeah, but like the funniest fucking thing she says is like the animals are leaving. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The animals are leaving.
Did you think that Hitchhiker's Guide was a documentary?
Yeah. So I edited
so long and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah, so long and thanks for all the fish. So I edited like clips of like the Lorax to that video where so what the fuck is stopping us from jumping off a bridge? And it's that scene of O'Hare just like jumping out of the ship. There's that scene where like the animals are leaving, so you see all like the fucking creatures from like the forest just leaving the fucking forest. And that's one of my favorite memes I've ever.
Oh yeah, like I remember James, he posted that like either a few days later or the day of the video, he posted that clip like individually on his Twitter.
It's such a good video that me and William and the rest of us just keep returning to. We're just like, the animals are leaving. It's so good.
I'm dying thinking of it right now. So.
It's so good. It's one of my all-time favorite videos on the internet. In terms of like, so that's like my favorite thing I've ever edited. In terms of like my favorite video I've edited, I have to really think about that actually. I feel like I'm super proud of all my segments. You know what? Here's a good one. I am proud of my work on the Freebirds video because
you whole edited that one, right?
I edited the whole thing. I edited that. That is one of the videos I edited the whole thing for. I think there's only 2 videos I've ever edited the full thing for, and that was his video essay from years ago on Shrek Retold, and then the Freebirds one. The only other closest one was I edited half the CIA video. But,
of course.
Well, yeah, because William got the first half. But anyway, Freebirds, I did the whole thing. And I was very proud of that because I also put in like my little turkey in like the background and like every other scene. So when we used to do Hunger Games on Chris's channel, Chris being the Shafe part of the Shaferless brand, who is no longer with us, unfortunately.
R.I.P.
Yes, R.I.P. for sure. He used to do Hunger Games streams where we'd like just modulate just different characters fighting in the Hunger Games. And one day I was just like struggling to come up with characters to put in my district. And I remembered earlier that day I had been at work, and because I have a real job. I don't just edit for James. I have a real wage slave cuck job.
No.
I know it sucks, but it is what it is. You know, you got to make that dough somehow so I can buy more copies of CIA on DVD. Yeah, of course. I remember I was driving because I drive for part of my job. I have to like deliver stuff, and I was going back to my van, and some turkeys like started like walking out of the woods, and one of them like approached my van and started pecking at the tires. And I was like taking a video of him doing that. I was like a couple feet away from him, just like he's just like trying to attack me and trying to attack my tires. And I'm just like, all right, stupid bird, if I run you over, it's your fault. And so then when Chris was just like, all right, we got to put in our picks, I was just like struggling for different characters. And so then I was just like, here's a turkey that tried to attack me at work today, and then it just became a running thing throughout Hunger Games. Because then we had like different characters we would put in, but then we also had what did we call it? We called it like the Super 8, even though there was like 17 different characters.
Crazy 8. I remember
the Crazy 8. Yeah, we had the Crazy 8, and even though there was like 17 different characters, and we just had like recurring characters, and one of them was my turkey.
Turkey.
And so then when I edited, so anyway, to wrap it around back to Freebirds, when I was editing the Freebirds video, I took a PNG image of that turkey and I just inserted it throughout the video as little Easter eggs. So if you watch that video and you see like a random live action turkey during this animated turkey film, that was me. I put that was that turkey that fucking tried to attack me while I was working.
Yeah. I think I realized I discovered you through Chris. Like at least your vocal.
Yeah, that seems likely. Yeah, because I did do Hunger Games. I was doing Hunger Games as far back as like I think November of 2021, because I think I remember the first time I ever joined a Hunger Games stream. When it was done, that was when William first showed us CIA. So yeah, no. And then I joined.
That does also bring up an interesting question that I guess I could have asked you at any time, Buster, but how do you guys actually handle the whole editing process for them? Because I had assumed it was just like, oh, you make a video, you export it, throw it on Google Drive, and then they download it and put it into their editor. But it sounds like with them being able to take stuff out, are you guys like full on exchanging full project files and everything?
So the process that we do it is James will upload a script, upload all his audio that he recorded for the video, and then he gives us free range to, find files, edit them in, and do whatever. And so then we take the audio, we take whatever visuals we can find, edit it together, and then give it back to him in like the final edits channel on the server. And then he downloads it and puts it in his own editing software, and he like, puts the finishing touches and puts his own like pizzazz to it. Or if he doesn't like an edit, he like edits in his own thing, which he's done with my stuff countless times. He's doing it less and less, which means I must be getting better. A lot of people, will like upload it to Google Drive. What I do is I upload my stuff to YouTube, but I keep it unlisted. And the reason I still upload to YouTube is because I try to make sure that like my stuff, my segment at the very least is free of copyright claim. Cause like, I don't know if James is gonna deal with it himself, but like, I just want to make sure I'm not adding to any like claims or anything. So like I upload it to YouTube. It says no copyright claim spotted. And then I just unlist it, send him the link, and he downloads it from there. So, but that's just how I do it.
Also, in fact, both of you to assume I'm an editor. I'm just friends of all these people.
Yeah, no, Buster's just a friend. Very good, very good friend, but a friend.
I assumed you got. I
would have been very loud about it.
Editing.
No, yeah, I don't know how to explain. It's a long story. I'll explain it off, Mike.
Yeah, no,
it's going to be a modular media lecture eventually. How Buster got into that other friend group.
Yeah,
I've gotten to too many friend groups over the last year. Some have stuck, some haven't. It's a wild time.
I mean, Buster sometimes gets some insider secrets, but it's nothing like it's.
Yeah, I don't usually like saying them anyway. I usually like keeping them to myself.
Yeah,
Buster's just the ascended fanboy.
He is the ascended fanboy. He's aware of the 2-hour video James is going to make on why CIA Ape and Freebirds are the only movies you should ever watch.
Yeah, just gonna like.
I gotta blink that out now.
I'm kidding. He already did videos on those.
Well, I was just gonna say he did.
He's actually making a 2-hour video on why Harry and the Hendersons is a cinematic masterpiece.
Oh man!
I was gonna say he did like
only 2. You can easily do 3 hours.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just saying he did threaten to make a Freebirds video every year. So
I mean, I don't know what he's gonna actually do with that. I mean, he can do different Star Wars videos, I guess. So more power to him.
I love this current trend of just like I'll talk about Star Wars, but not the actual movies. Just credits. I'll rank the credits. I'll rank the music, or like that's fun.
Oh, there's one that I actually already edited for. It's not out yet. I don't know when.
Yeah,
it's gonna be out.
I think William told me about that, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, keep it, no, I'm gonna keep it silent as well but it's really good.
Yeah, I
think, and I'm not just saying that because he's paying me to say that.
I don't even think James knows you're even doing this podcast.
No, I'm a dog off the leash as far as he's concerned.
Yeah. Man. Well, Snow Cone, you've just been silent as the grave over there tonight, buddy. What's going on? Do you have anything to talk about? Anything to ask Al?
Yeah, insult me.
Never. I refuse.
Oh, thank you.
No, that's what I'm here for.
Oh, okay, good. At least one of us is.
I'm extra sleepy today. I apologize.
Oh my god, Snow Cone's EP
and DP.
Yeah.
How much cannabis did you ingest?
I did not inhale.
You did not inhale any of the weed?
No, I did, yeah.
Good man.
Very good.
Be honest, there's a part of me that feels like I should probably be on weed right now.
It happens.
Yeah. You don't have to say on. It's not quite like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know your fancy drug terminology. All I know is I needed pain pills today, or for the last few days, and I finally got them today.
Hey!
Your experience pain no further for 5 seconds.
Hooray for the American healthcare system, everybody! A rousing success. So all across the globe, I think they agree.
Good job, everybody. Pat on the back. But not too hard, or you'll hurt yourself.
Everyone.
At least we're not like those weirdos who put a dude in a shiny hat today.
Yep. Yeah.
We love our British listeners.
Yeah.
All one of them.
One of them.
I'm pretty sure one person's British.
Yeah, I think they have at least one person in that country.
Yeah. I think I have like at the very least one as well. Yeah. I'd hope so.
Cherish your British friend today.
Yeah, cherish your British listener.
Go ahead and message one of my British friends right now and just be like, I'm so sorry.
No context. I'm so sorry.
No context. I'm so sorry, but if it makes you feel any better, we appreciate you listening to our content. We make it just for you, except we don't.
We make it for everybody. We make it for the lowest common denominator so that we can get them clicks.
Exactly.
I'm going to title this podcast The Great Christopher Nolan Debate.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, all great 2 minutes of it.
Like there's more than 5 minutes of one fucking topic we can name this goddamn shit show after.
Whoa.
Boingo's getting real with his feelings now.
Oh shit, man. We
He's
got a
getting
real.
real.
We
Like
can
that
literally
movie.
name every single episode. Well, that just fucking happened.
Whoa.
And it would be accurate. Come on.
Whoa. First Garfield gets real, now Boingo gets real. All right.
I'm turning from a 2D
Marvel fan. He's making that just happen jokes.
Fuck off. I'm the real VTuber now. Come on, fuck you.
Jesus.
Jesus can't help you now.
Whoa.
Oh, he could never help me.
Only Garfield can help you.
Yeah, I don't know if this was a mistake to bring Hal on or if the best decision I've ever made.
Great time tonight. This is a good episode. I'm calling this one all right. I don't care if it only gets 10 views.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad.
All right, but it'll get left behind.
Yeah. So I suppose that's as good a place as any to leave off, folks.
Yeah.
Is it?
Hal, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find your content throughout the internet should they want to?
Oh, well, you can find me on YouTube. Just type in Citizen Hal, and I'll be like one of the first results. And on that channel, you'll find my podcast, Too Many Movies, where I talk about the DVDs, Blu-rays, and even the occasional VHS tape in my collection.
You said the thing.
I did say the thing. That's the thing I say on that show. I'm trying to make it a thing. I don't know if it's a thing. It's a thing to me. That's all that matters. I'm also on Twitter. Unfortunately, I don't go on there much, but it's a Twitter account for the podcast. It's
Twitter
Too Many
is slowly
Movies.
driving us all away.
Yeah, exactly. The podcast is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you type Too Many Movies into either of those, you'll probably find it. And I'm on Letterboxd. I'm under the username Hal, and you find me if you see the Big Head Homer. And if you click on my account and you see like Dark Crystal, like that's me. That's where you'll find me. So I think that's it for plugs. I don't usually plug things. I'm usually the host of a podcast, so this is weird being the guest, but I mean it was really fun.
Get used to it, buddy. Or yeah. I guess you should have been used to it, buddy.
Yeah. Well, still.
All right. Well, now let's run down all the normal people. Buster, where can people find your content on the internet?
I am Buster Corp, the organizer of this episode. I do videos on YouTube, but just a lot of analysis on stuff I like. Podcasts on OKKO because I do too many podcasts and shit. You can also find me on Twitter, just a bunch of stream of consciousness stuff at BusterBoy3. I'm also at Tumblr if you just don't vibe with Twitter, but like I need to upload more on Tumblr, so yeah.
You do.
And yeah.
Snowcone, are there zones of the internet that you reside in?
One might could find me on Instagram under a never_Robertelli. Fettuccine.
That's my favorite Adult Swim character.
Fettuccine.
Linguini.
Oh my god, Ratatouille.
I love Ratatouille.
That is it.
All right. Boingo, who are you?
Fuck. That's who I am. I'm fuck.
My favorite.
I'm Boingo Writer. I do a variety of dumb shit on the internet. I stream on Twitch Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays at twitch.tv/Boingo Writer. I do a variety of videos on the YouTube, a weekly Kamen Rider review, as well as video editorial and essays when they get fucking made.
Where's that Geats X Revice review?
It's fucking coming. I'm writing it, you dipshit. Besides, the person who's given me like some B footage hasn't fucking filmed it yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe we should do something about that this weekend.
You fucking numpty. Boingo Writer on YouTube, that's what it is. You can follow me on a variety of social media platforms, including Tumblr, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. For most of them, it's Boingo_writer. For Tumblr, it's Boingo-writer. Just fucking engage with shit. Keep me in your eyeballs.
And I'm back. I make YouTube videos. They are things. You can find them at youtube.com @TheVacuuminator. I'm also on Twitter @TheVacuuminator and on Tumblr, thevacuuminator.tumblr.com. You can find clips of my content on TikTok @the_Vacuuminator, and that version of my username is also on Instagram, where I post action figure photography. And if you've somehow stayed through this entire episode and like this huge wall of just people saying links, here's some more links for you. Like, comment, subscribe to Modular Media. Support the podcast. Follow us on Twitter @TheModularMedia. Join the subreddit r/ModularMedia. And follow the Tumblr @ModularMedia. That's it. That's Modular Components. That was a podcast where some people hung out and talked about things. Thanks again for coming on, Hal. I hope all our listeners enjoyed it, and I hope they will join us again next week.